Welcome to yet another engaging session of our scientific forum immunization conclave. At Human Biological Institute, we take immense pride in driving several initiatives. Pride. Immunize with Pride is an uh, awareness initiative dedicated to educating the public about the vaccine preventable diseases and the importance of timely vaccination. This session feature leading experts from across the country who share the valuable insights on key health topics aimed to raise awareness and promote overall well-being of society at large. Today, we are delighted to have Dr. Anuj Jain, Dr. Nishitosh Niranjan, and Dr. Alok Bhandari with us to share their expert perspective on the vaccination gap, how parents can address it. I shall be sharing more about today's speaker in a short while. For the moment, please allow me to share a brief introduction of Human Biological Institute. Institute is a division of Indian Immunologicals Limited. IIL was established in 1982 by the National Dairy Development Board as one of its units and later incorporated as a company in 1999. HBI was founded in 1998 when the Government of India requested IIL to produce a modern tissue culture anti-rabies vaccine to phase out the unsafe nerve tissue vaccine. Our first manufacturing facility was set up in Ooty. The facility is one of its kind in India and rolled out the country's first virocell rabies vaccine in the year 2000. Today, we are the leader in the ARV, present in an around 60 countries. HBI has launched several other vaccines and become a major player in the human vaccine segment. HBI has been a key supplier of pentavalent vaccine in the government of India under its universal immunization program. In yet another milestone, HBI introduced Havishor in 2024, India's first indigenous hepatitis A vaccine, aimed at providing protection for both children and adults. With the vision of shaping global healthcare by spearheading the One Health initiative and the mission to innovate, produce, and market quality healthcare products and services to improve and extend lives, we are committed to providing affordable, high quality products through continuous technical innovations to meet our customer needs. As a market leader, we have a significant step towards reducing plastic burden by 160 tons per annum through the introduction of eco-friendly packaging for our flagship brand, Abhairab. A part of corporate social responsibility, we have adopted schools where IIL provides infrastructure support and basic facilities, including assistance with the midday meal program in association with NDDB. Through Gift Milk program, hundreds of school-going children benefit from daily milk nutrition. We have also donated an oxygen generation plant to Telangana Institute of Medical Science and Research Center during COVID times. These are just few highlights about IIL. For more information, please visit our website at www.indieimmune.com. Immunize with Pride Immunize with Pride is one of our unique initiatives that emphasizes vaccination not only protects individuals but also strengthens community immunity. Welcome to today's episode, Immunization Conclave. This session is dedicated to a highly significant topic, the vaccination gap, how parents address it. It is my privilege to introduce our panelists, Dr. Anuj Jain, Dr. Nishitosh Niranjan, and Dr. Alok Bhandari, leading pediatricians today. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Anuj Jain, a highly respected pediatrician and neonatologist with a rich experience in healthcare, child healthcare, preventive pediatrics, and immunization. Known for his clinical excellence and compassionate care, he has been a trusted name in pediatric practice. He completed his MBBS with distinction from GR Medical College, Gwalior, followed by MD in Pediatrics from NSCB Medical College, Jabalpur. Pursued PGPN from Boston University. He is currently consultant pediatrician and neonatologist at Blessings Children and Vaccination Center, and is associated with Apollo Cradle, Rainbow Children's Hospital, and other leading institutions. With strong expertise in vaccination and child wellness, Dr. Jain has also been an active speaker and contributor in several national pediatric and immunization forums. Welcome, Dr. Anuj Jain. It's a truly privilege. It's a truly privilege to have you with us today. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Nishitosh Niranjan, a highly respected pediatrician and neonatal intensivist with 16 years of experience in child healthcare and preventive pediatrics. Known for his clinical excellence and patient centered approach, he has made significant contributions in pediatrics, neonatology, and child wellness. He completed his MBBS, MD in pediatrics, and PGPN from Boston, and is currently director and senior pediatric consultant and neonatal intensivist at Greater Noida and Child Center. Besides being associated with Apollo Cradle and Rainbow Children Hospital, Dr. Niranjan has special expertise in neonatology, vaccination, allergy, and pediatric gastric health. And he has an active speaker and advisor in several pediatric and immunization forums. Welcome, Dr. Nishitosh Niranjan. It's a truly privilege to have us with us today. Today, we also have, it's my pleasure to introduce one of the most respected pediatricians from Delhi, Dr. Alok Bhandari, a highly experienced and compassionate clinician with over 41 years of dedicated services in pediatric care. Completed his College of Medical Science and GTB College, New Delhi in 1982, followed by Diploma Child Health from GB Pant Hospital and Maulana Azad Medical College, New Delhi in 1986. Dr. Alok Bhandari currently serves as a National Joint Secretary of the Indian Academy of Pediatrics, and he has several positions in FIAP West Delhi in 2021, Secretary General of National Neonatology Forum 2017 to 18, President of IMA West Town 2016 to 17, and State Secretary of Delhi Medical Association from 2015 to 16. Thank you, Alok sir, for being us today having us today and coming to our forum and talking for us. I welcome all the doctors. Thank you for coming for the live talk so that it will be very easy for our parents and the viewers. We have some common questions as the topic is today, the vaccine, how parents can close it. So my first question is to Dr. Anuj Jain. Sir, when we say vaccination gap in children and adolescents, what does it mean and why should parents be concerned?
So, hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon to all the eminent panelists, and thanks for inviting me as a panel for this wonderful session. I would be putting in whatever knowledge I have acquired through my clinical practice and my training. So, when we talk about vaccination gap, especially in children and adolescents, what we mean is like there is a difference between what is recommended and what has been actually been given to the child. So this means that the recommended immunization schedule, when it is not fully followed and there is either a missed vaccine or a delayed vaccine or an incomplete vaccination, All such cases can be called as a vaccination gap. For example, what we see many times in our practice is initially the three doses that are given at 6, 10, and 14 weeks, most patients turn up for that. But then they keep on delaying their vaccines later on when the time for boosters come. So the 1.5 year booster is delayed by next 3, 4 months, and then the 5 years booster is almost every time forgotten by the parents. So all such cases of missed vaccination or incomplete vaccination became our vaccination gap. Sometimes, by the child reaches an adolescent stage, the parents tend to think that vaccinations are no further needed. He has actually crossed the age where he would be suffering from diseases. But actually, the effect of the vaccines is gradually weaning off, and the child is more so susceptible for diseases, especially like a DPT vaccine or a Tdap booster that we give in adolescents. Some vaccines, like HPV vaccines, are actually given during adolescence only. So again, because of parental ignorance, sometimes maybe because of other factors, like a parent might have migrated from one town to another town, they might have lost their records. Sometimes because of some misconceptions regarding the vaccine, or on a larger scale, sometimes maybe because of a geopolitical situation like a war or an outbreak like COVID-19, there are children who do not receive their vaccines on time, either partially or completely. All such cases can be clubbed as a vaccination gap. Now, should we be concerned about vaccination gap? Sometimes parents tend to believe that they have given vaccine that should be good enough. But that is not partially protected or completely unprotected against multitude of diseases, which can range from viral infections like a measles or a whooping cough and hepatitis, or a significant infection like meningitis, HPV as well. So all these patients who have not received the vaccine for them, they are at risk of acquiring these diseases, and they are actually susceptible hosts for these diseases. So that is the trouble which happens with vaccination gap. So that is all the bad news. What the good news is that this vaccination gap can be taken care of. So there are recommendations by authorities, there are guidelines for catch-up immunization. So in case a child has, or a parent has actually forgotten to give a vaccine to a child, or they have they have given a few doses and then left out a few doses, then there are recommendations which we know call as catch-up immunization schedule, which can be done, and the remaining vaccines or the remaining doses can still be inoculated to the child. So what I categorically tell the parents is late is better than never. So do not miss out on vaccine. If you have delayed it, maybe there is still an opportunity, and discuss with your pediatrician, and maybe they can guide you how those doses which have been missed can still be given.
Nicely explained, sir. So the question you said missed or delay. So I have a next question to Dr. Nishitosh Niranjan, sir. Sir, which vaccines are commonly missed or delayed in older children and adolescents in India?
So basically, if we see that the IAP schedule and the immunization schedule, there is vaccination which is scheduled at 10 years of age, that is Tdap and HPV vaccination, and at 15 years of age, TD or Tdap as per the immunization schedule. Generally, what's that? That is thing that vaccination is for children only, and in schedule they are very regular till 5 years of age, and after 5 years of age, there is a gap of 5 years for the next regular vaccination. So generally, tend to forget that vaccination is due at 10 years, and then again the same scenario that patient generally misses out at the 15 years of age. So these two age group, that is 10 years and 15 years, generally we see that there's a lot of missed chances this booster and HPV vaccination. So these two age groups should be catered. And one last vaccine, that is the flu vaccine. Flu vaccine in 2020 was made and advocated by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare that flu vaccine should be recommended till 8 years of age. So what we see that many a times in our immunization schedule, it is not or a specific or a chart is not there for the flu vaccination. So many a times only at 6 months and 7 months patient administer flu vaccination. Then yearly flu vaccination is missed many patients. So these are the, at 10 years, that is HPV 2 doses vaccination, that is the third booster, and again at 15 years booster or Tdap booster, and third is flu vaccination, that yearly till 88 years of age. So these are the missed opportunities, a lack of awareness or missed opportunities.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering this. So, like as you said, missed and delayed. So, very common question, sir. My next question is to Dr. Alok, sir. So, how can parents identify whether their child has missed vaccines or boosters and needs catch-up vaccination? It's a very common and important question, sir.
No, but the point is these. I think now age is advanced. Parents are very well aware. They are always conscious of the vaccination schedules. Also, at every visit, they ask their healthcare provider that when is the next visit due, when is the next vaccine due, and most of the patients are keeping reminders also with them. And at certain places, certain pediatricians also provide this service to their patients and the families, that their reminder goes from the clinic that your so and so vaccination is due. So it is a shared responsibility by the pediatrician and the healthcare provider just to ensure that no vaccine is missed and child is fully vaccinated. And even the school admissions, they are also now particular. They also maintain a chart of or the vaccination record, and they also remind the family that child's immunization is due.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for saying, like, the parents really don't know sometimes, like, how do they get reminders and all. But thank you for elaborating it. So, my next question is to Dr. Anuj Jain. Sir, how does the Tdap, that is tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis booster, protect adolescents, and when should it be given?
Okay, so if we talk of the Tdap vaccine, primarily it protects against three very serious diseases. One is tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis. Tetanus is a bacterial infection. The bacteria gains access into your body through a contaminated cut or a wound. It can lead to significant muscular stiffness, spasm. Respiratory muscles can get involved, finally leading to respiratory compromise. Maybe the child can go into on mechanical ventilation, and it will be tough to salvage a child suffering from tetanus. Diphtheria is a throat infection. The child presents with a throat infection, and then there is like worsening of the case, and the membrane is visible in the throat, and the respiratory tract is involved. There is obstruction in the respiratory tract. Sometimes diphtheria can also involve your nervous system and cardiovascular system as well, leading to serious complications and mortality. Pertussis is primarily case presents with a persistent cough, maybe lasting for over months, and then there are complications of that disease. So all these three mortality and morbidity associated with them. So the protection for these diseases actually starts very early in the infancy. Like the first doses of DPT vaccine are given at 6 weeks of age. Then the primary immunization consists of 3 doses at 6 weeks, 10 weeks, and 14 weeks of age. And then the boosters are given at 18 months of age and a second booster at 5 years of age. So why do adolescents still need a booster at 10 years of age, wherein the Tdap booster is concerned? Why do the adolescents still need it? So what happens with these vaccine is that the antibodies which are generated, they gradually keep on weaning. Like they are tighter, their serum concentration, or their concentration in the blood gradually keeps on reducing. So when it goes below a critical value, the immunity that the initial vaccine has, that immunity goes beyond the critical values, and the child is now again susceptible to the disease. That is why the immunization schedule recommends that a Tdap booster should always be given at 10 years of age. That is part of both government immunization schedule under the Rashtriya Tikakaran Abhiyan, as well as the private immunization schedule, that is the Indian Academy of Pediatric immunization schedule that we follow. So a booster of Tdap is given to all adolescents at 10 years of age. The further recommendation for this is like it should be repeated every 10 years. That is what the parents actually tend to forget, or they actually miss out on, that this Tdap booster is given at 10 years of age, and then it has to be repeated after every 10 years. Now, again, if the parents have unfortunately forgotten the vaccine, so that is not an issue. They can still connect with their pediatrician, and a catch-up immunization for the same vaccine can still be initiated. So, yes, parents should be conscious about the fact that the Tdap vaccination will require re-immunization at 10 years of age, and a booster after each 10 years of age further. And if at all it has been missed, they can definitely connect with their pediatrician for a catch-up immunization.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for explaining a very detailed about Tdap vaccine. My next question is to Dr. Nishitosh Niranjan, sir. So, why is the HPV vaccine important for adults, and how can it prevent cancers later in life? Only for girls, or is it equally important in boys also?
So coming to the human papilloma virus, so it is this vaccine has gained a lot of traction in last one decade because of push by multiple organizations, including WHO and in last 2 years with the government of India and also incorporating in the national immunization for age of 14 to 15 years. HPV vaccine is the only vaccine which protects against the cancer. So HPV is a human papilloma virus causes cancers of oropharyngeal region and genital warts. So it's a very horrific fact that HPV cervical cancer in female is the second most common cancer occurring. It almost kills about 200 to 300 mortality in US every day. So the burden is much high, and it is just a tip of the iceberg because of many in the clinical picture. As actually occurs after sexual, that is after adolescent young boy and girls goes to college, the sexual starts, and the chances of HPV into the human circulation and why this vaccine is important in the early part of adolescence or before sexual debut. Because as the against immune system, the HPV virus is set by the prototype versus the human system, and after many years or many decades, they present in the form of precancerous lesions and the cancerous lesions. So the entry of HPV is early, but the presentation of the disease is after few decades or after many. So it's a silent killer. We cannot define this HPV virus in any part of entry. So this is why this vaccine has become very important to give in the early part of this. And actually, in a part of adolescent, one or two is more than sufficient to gain a lifelong immunity against HPV virus. And the last question which you have asked me, that it is for girls or boys, it is a in adolescent gender neutral vaccine. It can be given to young females as well as young boys, because penile cancer, anal cancer, oropharyngeal cancers can occur in males, and in females, genital cancers, including the cervical cancer, anal cancers, oropharyngeal cancer, warts can also occur. So it's a gender neutral vaccine in the early adolescent part.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering that. Sir, my next question is to Dr. Alok Bhandari, sir. So, many patients ask about typhoid vaccination, especially school-going children eating outside. How relevant is it today?
You know, waterborne diseases and this summer weather, this typhoid is a big menace. And fortunately, there is a vaccine available. So parents have to be informed that it comes under the category of strongly recommended at least. Because even in Government of India's UIP schedule also typhoid vaccine is there. But at times it is not available in the government sector. And they should all be motivated and prepared to get it from the private sector, because the vaccine preventable disease prevents the disease, and in this case the typhoid can be prevented by getting the vaccine. Otherwise the disease is there, then the parents have to lose their off, they will have to take leave and attend to the child, or the child may be hospitalized hospitalization expenses, and loss of wages, and all that. If we add, it becomes many, many fold. Vaccine is a very cheap and best option to prevent and safeguard their health of the family. So it is strongly recommended, and especially food handlers have to be also checked. The even the cooking, the all the restaurants and hotels, the persons involved in uh, cooking the meals over there, they have also to be told about the hygiene, and then the water sanitation, water supply, that is to be also taken care.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you for answering this question, sir. So my next question is to Dr. Anuj Jain. For children going to hostels, daycare, sports camp, and school reopening, how important is to catch up vaccination planning?
Okay. Uh, so yes, when a child is moving to a place which is a community-based living or a co-together living, like a hostel or a school camp, or maybe after a long vacation going back to the school. So all these places, the children have a close contact with each other. So because of that close contact, the contagious infection can spread from one child to another child, like viral infections like measles, mumps, chickenpox, pertussis, influenza. So they are like highly contagious infections. So when the children live together, close together in say a hostel, if one child has this infection, then it spreads to other children as well if they are not already immunized for that disease. So there have been cases when the entire hostel has had a chickenpox outbreak, and all the students residing there all are infected with chickenpox. So so because of closed atmosphere, because they're living together, there is a good chance that if one children have it, then it can spread to other children. So before the readmission, before they are children, we are actually planning that the child will be going to a hostel or a place where there will be a close living together with other children. It is very important that the immunization schedule is revisited. The parents should have a relook at the immunization schedule. They can discuss it with their healthcare provider, the pediatrician, if at all any vaccine needs to be given in such scenario before the child actually goes to that place to live. So children should enter group settings only when they are fully protected and not partially protected. Many universities, in fact, have this on record that they actually tend to ask for the vaccination card before they give admission to a child to such a setting. So yes, parents should be very careful if a child is moving into a hostel or a group care stay, wherein he will be exposed to the infections, and they have to make sure that the child is fully protected against those diseases. These are not only air to air borne diseases, which I have already talked about, but then because of the exposure to a community kitchen or a community dining place or the common toilets, there's a chances that fecal route transmission diseases like typhoid and hepatitis A can also happen with these children. So they should be adequately immunized against all such infections before they actually move into the settings where they have to live along with the other students. Shwani, we are not getting your voice. I'm not getting your voice. Yeah,
So am I audible now?
yeah, very well.
Yes, sir. So I'll repeat the question, sir. So my next question is to Dr. Nishitosh Niranjan, sir. How does the meningococcal vaccine become relevant in crowded living settings or international students travel?
So coming to meningococcal vaccine, as we all know that meningococcal is caused by a bacteria that is in Neisseria meningitis, which harbors in crowded gathering in poor ventilation conditions. So incidence of meningococcal meningitis is less, but mortality and neurological complications related to this illness is very high. In high risk people such as splenic conditions, other cardiac issues, and mass gathering situations like Hajj pilgrimage, they harbor ideal spot for meningococcal virus spreading. And as we know that there is a lot of hostel and goes to the hostel. There is a lot of and they are living in a crowded space. Then the chances of meningococcal disease is likely to exist in those conditions. That in these high groups, this becomes relevant and give a high risk groups, hostels, military, people going high staying at the Kumila. So then it becomes really important. This is a vaccine which should be cover a special group of people in high risk category.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering. Sir, my next question is to Dr. Alok, sir. Sir, can influenza vaccine help reduce disease school-going children, especially during seasonal outbreaks?
Yes, yes, it is a very important vaccine, though it is not in the universal immunization program recommendation by the government of India. But influenza has got a huge burden globally, and the last this COVID or Corona epidemic has very clearly shown that all those children who had received uh, flu vaccination and influenza vaccination and pneumococcal conjugate vaccine, their lungs were quite protected, and the incidence of their going to ventilators and all or hospitalizations was minimal. So that was the only influenza and the pneumonia vaccines were the two who could save these COVID patients. So after that, there has been a huge increase in the demand of the vaccine also, and it has been well accepted also. So influenza vaccine is again a very, very must, and especially earlier it was recommended only for high risk patients and those children with asthmatics or wheezing or respiratory predominantly symptoms. But there is no harm in getting it universally for all, and I recommend it as a universal immunization to all my patients.
Thank you, sir. Sir, my next question is to Dr. Anuj Jain. Some patients believe natural infection gives immunity than vaccine. How do you conception, sir?
Okay. So that's a pretty good question. There is a strong misconception sometimes, especially in those patients who acquire their knowledge through internet or sometimes through chat GPT, that natural infection tend to give you antibodies and it will actually protect the child against the disease. Sometimes the quanta of that antibodies can be much higher than what can be acquired by a vaccine. That question crops up many a times in the OPD. So I would like to address that question now. Like there are two ways in which a child can get an immunity against a disease. Basically, immunity means that the child's body should have antibodies to fight against that disease. It could be a virus or a bacteria, but the child body should have antibodies to fight against this. Now, these antibodies can be acquired by the child by two ways. One is like the child suffers from a disease, he catches a virus, that virus grows in his body, that virus stimulates his immune system, and then the immune system actually produces the antibodies to fight against the virus or bacteria. Now, that is one way of acquiring antibodies. The other way is like you inoculate a portion of that virus which has been killed, inactivated, made impotent, docile, so that it cannot cause symptomatic trouble to the child. That is, that viral portion or bacterial portion will be introduced into the body of the child, but the child will not have any symptoms because of that. But the immune system will be stimulated to produce antibodies. That is what the crux of a vaccine is. That is how a vaccine works. Now, the difference between these two scenarios is like in the first scenario, when the child actually has the disease, he will have to have the symptoms of that disease. Now, there are certain infections which produce symptoms which are very grave. Child can have significant febrile episodes, he can have febrile seizures, then he can have respiratory embarrassment, he can have cardiopulmonary involvement, he can have neurological involvement. Say, for example, a case of polio. Polio virus enters in your body, and many a times it will produce mild symptoms like a fever or a somewhat a GI symptoms, gastrointestinal symptoms. Then it will wean off, and we will have antibodies against it. This is one way. But yes, sometimes that polio virus, 1 in 1,000 maybe, move into the neurological system of the child, and it will cause crippling paralysis to the child, and the child will be paralyzed for life. You cannot restore his damaged neural system because of the polio virus later on ever. So that is how immunity against polio can be generated, but that will means that many of the children will be paralyzed. The other way is to do what Indian government or what worldwide was done, just to give 2 drops of a vaccine and make sure that your country is a disease, such a grave disease, eradicated out of your country, which we have seen in our front of our eyes. Now, even after seeing this, if someone believes that natural immunity can have a better protection against the disease, it's like the other way around to explain is like supposedly, which I explained to one parent as well, who was arguing about this. So, like, if you want to make your child learn how to fight against fire, there are two ways of doing it. One is like you show him extinguisher, you show him how to operate it, you let him know how water can be used to extinguish a fire. If a cylinder is burning, how you can use a wet cloth to wrap around it so as to extinguish the fire. And the other way around is you lock your child in your house and then you put a fire on your house. What would you prefer? I mean, like, having a disease and then trying to gain immunity from that disease is the other way around. The When you actually put on fire on your house and you lock your child into it. So a better way is to give him immunity before he actually suffers from the disease.
A very good example, sir, and well explained. My next question to Dr. Nishitosh Niranjan. Sir, how catch up missed vaccines if the child's schedule is incomplete?
So, Dr. Anuj said in the opening that better to be late than never. So again applies to the vaccination. For whatsoever child misses the vaccination, in majority of the cases, catch-up vaccination can be done. Just only a fine-tuning up required, and parents has to consult with the pediatrician, and pediatrician be fine-tuning that catch-up vaccination. And in case many vaccines, then pediatrician will be making a new catch-up vaccination chart. And one thing more, sometimes parents think that there is 3 doses which need to be inoculated, and only one vaccine is given and 2 are not given. Then first vaccine is counted as 0. No, that is not the case. We count one vaccine, first vaccine as a valid vaccine, then catch-up will be done, and the for the given to the child. So catch-up vaccination, you only have to consult a pediatrician, and everything will be by the pediatrician, and catch-up vaccination can be done.
My next question is to Dr. Alok Bhandari, sir. Sir, how do vaccines help protect not only one child, but schools, families, and communities through herd protection?
इसमें अगर आप एग्जाम्पल की बात देखते हैं तो पुराना एग्जाम्पल था, एक मछली तालाब गंदा करती है, तो इसका रिवर्स है, दिस इज द ऑपोजिट साइड कि वी हैव टू प्रोटेक्ट एवरीबडी. एंड द कॉन्सेप्ट दैट हाउ द वैक्सीन प्रोटेक्ट्स an individual is that it strengthens you to protect yourself from the disease without getting the disease itself. What Dr. Anuj has explained, your body has, your immune system is strengthened, that once you are exposed to a pathogen or a disease-causing organism, you have protection inside your body so that you are saved and you don't get that infection. And gradually, this herd immunity concept is that when more and more people are protected and are already vaccinated, there will be very few people in the community who are susceptible to this disease. And the disease transmission cycle is that the disease transmission has to go from one to the other place. Like if I give you an example of the polio and pulse polio, which we have used this herd immunity concept to eradicate polio from our country, and we are in the process of global eradication, that the polio virus, जो है, the vaccine virus, polio is caused by spread of the disease causing virus. So the vaccine virus is put in the intestine of a small child less than 5 years old. And so if every less than under 5 child has got vaccine virus in the gut, there will be no place for the wild or polio disease causing virus to remain or thrive or survive. So that virus doesn't spread and it dies. Same way, this is even if 100% children are not vaccinated, the 90% who are vaccinated are sufficient to block the transmission of the disease. The virus will not survive outside, it has to have a human body to transmit the disease. When more and more children or the population is protected, there is no scope for the virus to spread or replicate. And that is what is this concept of herd immunity, that the entire community is protected even if everybody is not protected. I hope I've clarified. If there
Yes,
are,
sir. Yes, sir. Very well clarified. A very good example. And so, my next question is to Dr. Anuj Jain. What role can pediatricians and parents play together in closing immunization gaps early rather than waiting of outbreaks?
Yes. So basically, like it's a two-way handshake between parent and the pediatrician, which ensures that the child is protected. There are specific duties of both these partners. Like parents have to take care that they do the timely visits, they keep their vaccination records updated, and then they make it a point in their routine that whatever, if at all it's a immunization day, they have to actually be sure about leaving all their jobs and then and going for the immunization on the right date. That is the duty of the parents. Pediatricians as such, we also have our duty, because immunization is an evolving science, so there are recommendations which keep on changing. There are newer recommendations coming, there are newer vaccines coming. Now it is our role to actually educate the parents when you come for any clinical visit. If a new vaccine schedule is modified as per the recent science, that we have to elaborate to our patients as such. Sir Alok sir also pointed out a point that nowadays there is a system of reminders as well. So we all can have softwares wherein the reminders for vaccination can go to the parents, and the parents can be made aware about the based vaccines as such. So obviously, so it's a two-way thing which happens between the parents and the parent and the pediatrician, to make sure that the child is vaccinated. Now coming on to the other second aspect, what why should we wait for an outbreak to happen and then think for vaccination? Well, that should the ideal scenario. Obviously, sometimes if an epidemic happens at some place, then government does the outbreak control by using massive vaccination programs. That happens sometimes in villages where has happened with other diseases as well. COVID-19 is the most recent example when the government actually propelled for the vaccine so that the spread of the disease can be controlled. But that should not be the rule. Ideally, the rule should be that you should get protection from the disease before it actually happens in the community. It's like when you start your car, you wear the seat belt. You do not wear your seat belt once your car crashes. So it's like when you have the disease, they all around you. It is actually quite late to actually have the vaccine.
Yes, sir. Very well, very nicely said. So my next question is to Dr. Nishitosh Niranjan, sir. Sir, how can schools contribute to improving awareness and vaccine uptake among adolescents? So what is the role of the school, sir? It's a very important
Yeah.
question.
So school or academic institutions play a very crucial role in educating adolescent young girls and boys regarding sexual health, hygiene practices, and vaccination importance. So, how a school can be part of this awareness in organize health talks with pediatricians, gynecologists, with physicians on a regular basis, so that vaccine awareness can be imparted. As now, vaccine is not only a part of child age group; it is now a system to adolescent young girls and boys. It is also vaccine are also very important part of adult immunization, and similar goes with the senior citizens who are at the vulnerable risk of dreaded diseases. So, said age group can be educated regarding the lifelong vaccination to protect a healthy till the end of the life.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, sir, for answering that question. So today, my last question for the Dr. Alok Bhandari, sir, on all vaccinations. For hesitant parents who are worried about vaccine overload or safety, how can healthcare providers communicate better?
Because first thing is, when a parent is coming to you with some concern, our healthcare provider has not to refute them or argue with them. Your goal is to convince them, make them comfortable, first listen to them properly, give them due respect and regard for their concerns. And then once they are comfortable in talking to you, because if a hostile parent is there, he has come with a prefixed idea that you are recommending too many vaccines, there is a vaccine overload, there will be so many side effects, zamana kya ja raha hai, something like that. So we just have to tell them ki please cool down, have a seat, be comfortable and relax, and then the healthcare provider should start the conversation and ask him specifically what exactly is the concern. And then you have to guide them towards an informed decision depending upon the concern expressed by the patient or the parent. Because you just have to explain that the risks of vaccine overload, because science is evolving and the disease pattern is changing. But in any case, we can always give an example that you go back, anybody can go back to their families and they can find out, okay, what was the healthcare scenario of the country in your parents' time, in your grandparents' time, and in your grandparents' time, when a, and which age group a person was born. Because pre-independence, what was the infant mortality rate? What was the average life expectancy? Because if you go back to say 30 years ago, the school books used to say 50 वर्ष का बूढ़ा जा रहा था. I don't know आपके स्कूल के टाइम पे क्या था, but 50 years was considered an old man. And now you know that I'm sure three of
Is
us
new
50,
15.
50 to is the beginning of the life types. So, and life expectancy was also, there was a very common thing that many people used to will not reach 60 years, 60th birthday. But now to 80th, 90th birthday is a routine in the families. And then same is one is life expectancies. Next is your child under 5 survival, infant mortality. Every family used to have. आप पूछिए आपके दादी जी आप कितने भाई बहन थे? हम 10 बहन भाई थे, बट स्कूल में हमारे 2-3 खड़क गए थे, स्कूल पास करने तक 7 रह गए थे और शादी होने तक तो 5 ही रह गए थे types. So that was a normal scenario. Okay? Every family had almost 50% mortality, childhood mortality, young mortality. During childbirth, there was a loss of either child or the mother. पुरानी हिंदी फिल्में अभी भी देखते हो, मैं एक को ही बचा पाया, माँ और बच्चे में से एक की जान बच पाई. But all those things are now history. These days, with vaccination is the mainstay of the sea change or the revolution which has brought improved our life expectancy, given us protection from various diseases, and that is how we are enjoying that. In old elder age group also there is a vaccine for the elderly also, and they are also leading a very comfortable life, getting protected from their diseases. And regarding vaccine overload, now there, with the modern science, there is an advantage of combination vaccines and multiple vaccines studies. Science has allowed us to give many vaccines in one sitting. Earlier, it started with the vaccination started with triple vaccine DTP. Now DTP has been replaced by hexavalent vaccine, where 3 more disease protection is there. 6 diseases are protected in one shot. Rotavirus vaccine has come, which is earlier in that every hospital and everywhere there was a diarrhea ward. All those people in the business of diarrhea ward have lost their business. There is nothing like diarrhea ward in any of the hospitals now. And even in my residency days, we used to have every almost 40 to 50 admissions children admitted into diarrhea ward every day, and now those diarrhea wards are closed. They have been replaced by other wards. So diarrhea, rotavirus is the commonest cause of diarrhea, and a simple prevention of rotavirus vaccine gives us protection from that. And that is given along with this hexavalent vaccine, and pneumonia vaccine is also given along with it in one sitting only. So there is no overload, just one visit gives you protection against 8 diseases. So this concept has to be told to the parents, and there is nobody who is not going to accept that. ये तो बहुत फायदे का सौदा है. ठीक.
Thanks.
Yes, sir, we will explain. The last question to all of you, the common question. As we discuss closing the vaccination gap, what should parents know, especially about closing immunity gaps against hepatitis A and B vaccines, especially for school-going children, hostelers, monsoon risk, and catch-up protection? Sir, Anuj Jain, sir.
You asked about hepatitis A and hepatitis B, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So basically, both are absolutely different things. Both are hepatitis, but the mode of transmission of both the diseases is different. Hepatitis A usually spreads through a fecal-oral route, contaminated and water being the commonest source through digestive tract, and causes affection of the liver. The patient comes with signs of liver damage, and then sometimes, many times, hepatitis A is a mild illness, but occasionally it can go into severe cases like a liver failure involved in hepatic encephalopathy or hepatic coagulopathy. That is, it can also have a grave prognosis. Uh, Hepatitis B is an absolutely separate setting wherein it transmits through contaminated blood or through the body secretions. Now, these two diseases, however, are very relevant by vaccination, which can be controlled, because especially in current scenario where we see like there is a lot of the food which is being consumed through the various apps, and there are many this thing like food handlers which are involved. So there is a chance that the outbreak of hepatitis A can actually increase because of contamination of food and water is more so possible now. Also, the children who are adolescents who are residing in hostels or wherein there is a group kitchen setting, there also the chances of hepatitis A increase. Hepatitis B also can increase because like nowadays children are more having their sexual experiences at a lesser age when they do not know how to actually protect themselves. So maybe that can also cause an increase in the hepatitis B incidence as well. Hepatitis B is a very grave disease. It not only has an acute course, but it can remain in your body for a long time, can cause a chronic hepatitis. Even a cancer, liver cancer, can be because of hepatitis B virus. So it is very important that hepatitis A and hepatitis B vaccinations are done, and the parents should have a look at the immunization cards of their children. Hepatitis B vaccine is like universally available at all government hospitals as well. The vaccination starts right at birth, and then 2 more doses are as such needed, and there can be variation in the immunization schedules, but at least all children should receive 3 doses of hepatitis B. Hepatitis A, sometimes it is not available at government centers, but it is again a very significant illness, and the parents have to be made aware about hepatitis A as well. So yes, vaccination can protect against both these ailments, and if at all the vaccine for these two things have been missed, they can be part of catch-up immunization schedule for a child who has actually missed these two vaccines.
Thank you, sir. Sir, your takeaway point on hepatitis A and B, sir, Dr. Nishitosh Niranjan, sir.
As I explained that how the virus can have a direct consequence in a human. So these both vaccines are compulsory vaccines as per Indian Academy of Pediatrics. Hepatitis B is part of national immunization schedule, and everybody should be, each individual should receive 3 doses of hepatitis B in a lifetime, for a lifetime protection. As we all know that one application and the vertical transmission is vertical from a mother. If a mother is infected with hepatitis B, then child can also have a hepatitis B infection, can lead to chronic liver disease and liver cirrhosis, which can hamper the life of child. And coming to the hepatitis A vaccine, is hepatitis A is caused by route, and it can have a grave consequences if fulminant hepatitis occurs in the adulthood age. So both these vaccines should be given to each and every individual in India. So these are compulsory vaccines as per my experience.
Thank you, sir. So, Dr. Alok, sir, your takeaway on these both vaccines, sir?
My two learned friends have already covered all aspects of these, except I can just add that hepatitis B though is a recognized devil, and the vaccine was, and incidentally, hepatitis B vaccine was the one of the, when this vaccination era began, it started with hepatitis B vaccination, Injirix B, and that was the costliest vaccine at that times, maybe around 40 years early 80s also. It came with 1100 each dose, and then came multi dose of Injirix B, which was again costing 4000. Now it has come down to less than 40 rupees a dose, so that I have seen all the times, both the times. But one line message, that government has also realized that because of the seriousness of the disease, it has been put into the national immunization schedule also. And if this hepatitis B vaccine is not given, it invariably leads to liver cancer and liver failure in children who get infected by the disease, and life-threatening diseases there. So it is an alarming situation. And regarding hepatitis A, water contamination and food handling, we have already talked in last 1 hour. It is a very, very common issue, and which can be simply prevented by a simple vaccination. So everybody should go ahead for the vaccine. No questions, no doubt about it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, all the doctors. While concluding the program, thank you all for being a part of Immunize Conclave. We hope today's session was informative and valuable in spreading awareness the vaccination gap, how parents can address it. Our special thanks to Dr. Anuj Jain, Dr. Nishitosh Niranjan, and Dr. Alok Bhandari, sir, for sharing their time, expertise, and insights with us today.
Thank you. Thank you, please.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. For those who would like to revisit the
Thank
program,
you.
the video will be available on our official social media platforms. Please follow us Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Do like, share, and spread the word, as many including your friends, family, and relatives. Until we meet our next live talk, stay healthy, stay aware. Please take good care of yourself. Thank you, doctors.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.